Hey guys, it's time to buckle up because we have another good story from Roller Reddit. My 32F husband, 35M, had an emotional affair with a minor. Who was his patient? I'm leaving. Reporting him, but just now processing this. Just to preface this, I'm planning to meet with an attorney, after which I'm reporting him to the medical board, his hospital, and contacting the girl's parents. This is sick and I'm ashamed it took me so long to realize how disgusting this is. There are other issues too. But this was what started the downward spiral 6 months ago, Feb. Anyways, we were in Paris, and he was taking selfies, but kicked me out of his selfie. Turned out while we were in Paris, he was slow texting this girl who is a 16-year cheerleader. I took his phone and read through all their FB messages. He asked that she only contact him through FBBC, it's safer. He only talked to her during times he was at work or late at night, very early AM, so I never caught on. I broke it off there. Problem is, we have 2 kids. One is mine from a previous relationship. I get along great with my ex and his family. And then we have a 4-year daughter together. So over 2 weeks, cod-free in Europe, he was able to convince me he was just helping her through the ocean. There was nothing sexual said, no inappropriate photos sent. However, the conversations were highly inappropriate, plus totally goes against doctor-patient relationship. If she was 30, it would have bothered me much less. But I can't get over this BC of her age. I still don't trust him. He thinks I should be over it by now. But 16, I cannot be okay with that. He could have chosen an older woman his age. He chose a child. I am seeing a therapist next week and a divorce attorney. I just need to get all this off my chest, since it's not something I've told friends. I know this will devastate the family too, because it's sick AF. I'm ashamed I stayed this long and didn't report it right away. But I was so in shock the reality hasn't hit me until now. Story 2. Guy I'm talking to says he misses me, but doesn't seem interested when we talk. I'm F23. Chatting with someone I met online, M21, a few months ago, and it's nothing serious, meaning we have no intentions of meeting up or forming a romantic relationship. So we just chat whenever. Even though he reached out to me first, I always felt like I was putting in more effort into our conversations, and I never really felt like we had a good connection to begin with. Recently, I brought up to him that it seems like he only wants to sext, and then he apologized, saying that was never his intention and he didn't mean to make me feel that way. So we backed off from sexting a bit, which seemed like a good sign. But chatting with him has kind of been a hit or miss TBH. Overall, he's a pretty dry texter. Doesn't really ask me any questions or give me much to work with. Anyways, I've been really busy with school lately, so I told him that I wouldn't be texting him as often. He's been sending me a lot of I miss you messages if we go a day or 2 without texting, but when I do try to text him, he gives short replies. So I'm not really sure if he truly misses me or the attention. It seems like he's not that interested in getting to know me, but he keeps trying to reassure me that he is. At this point, I'm starting to procrastinate on replying back because I don't even know what to talk about with him anymore. But for some reason I feel some sort of attachment to him and don't want to cut things off yet. He admitted to having ADHD and HPD and that he sucks at socializing in general, which is why I've given him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm wondering if he's only chatting with me for the attention. Should I just cut it off? What do you think? Story 3. I'd give or how I should ask her out, 15M. So I'm conflicted whether or not I should ask out my crush. That's my brother's girlfriend's sister. Like, I honestly really do like her, but if it doesn't go well, it's probably going to be awkward, so yeah. I'm also bad at reading signs, and I have no idea if she saw it the same way I did. But I'll get into it later. Background. So I first met B14F, early July for the first time at the boardwalk of a beach. I was instantly attracted to her, although I was kinda shy and didn't talk to her. I didn't really talk to her in any capacity until around August. My brother, 17M, gave her my snap. We ended up talking for a bit and I thought we vibed pretty well. We saw each other here and there, but nothing much happened until in early October at my brother's homecoming when she asked my brother if I could come to the pre-homecoming event, which I did. Our homecoming wasn't until a few weeks out. We ended up being the only 2 people left behind when they went to take pictures for like an hour. It was a house that had a pool, so we played games around pool and had a good time. Then there was a period of nothing much happening until 2 weeks ago, where we ended up going to the girlfriend's house, 16F, for the weekend since my parents went away, and we all went to Hershey Park. We had some One time waiting in lines when we split away to go on some other rides than the other two. We do get along good, and the more time I spent with her the more conferable I get, and the more I talk since I'm regularly shy and introverted. And then, last week, I was invited the night before with her to go to the same beach and boardwalk we first met, along with my bro and his girl, plus another couple. The six of us did some shopping and then some lunch before we split up, and the two of us went to play mini-golf and went around the shop. I really did have a good time with her, and it lasted for like 2.5 hours before we went back to the others. Then we split up again from the others to go to different shops before we went home. Like I said, I really did have a good time, and I think she did too. I'm just not sure how to go forward from here. I don't know if my brother knows I like her, though some events make believe that it's a possibility. I do eventually want to talk to them about and see what they think about it, because their opinions really do matter to me and I do trust them. I also want to know if they're okay with it in the first place. One thing, though, is that we don't really talk in the periods where we don't see each other early. I at least know some of the time she wants to see me, so isn't forced interactions. I still do have her Snap and we Snap Facebook sometimes, but besides that we don't really talk outside of it. And she does Snap a lot of other people too. She has like a 285K Snap score, and it usually goes up like 501K a day, and she snaps a lot of guys. She posted a SS with her best friends list showing it as all guys with the caption "This got it" go a few months ago. Another thing is, if I do decide to do it, is to try to get the motivation to do it. When I think about it, I always think it's a gamble, but I really don't want to make things awkward in case she doesn't see me in that way. Like I said, I'm not the best at picking up signs, but she tried to give any anyways. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Any advice? Story 4. Help me, 27F, with how to go about my situation after a first date. Met a guy, 23M, in a friend group event last week. We have friends in common, but it was our first time meeting. We got along really well and I really enjoyed interacting with him. He made a couple of comments about thinking I was pretty. He also was planning on going hiking the next day, and one of his friends was teasing him that he was going on a date with a girl. He replied that no, he was actually going on his own, at which point he turned to me and asked me if I'd like to join him. I agreed because I enjoyed his company, and since the way he asked me was so casual and he seems like the confident type that easily asks when he feels like it, I didn't overthink it. So I went with him, we hiked, had lunch and coffee later. It was fun, and he again mentioned thinking I was beautiful, and also he clearly called our hangout a date. At some point he mentioned potentially doing something else another time, and I said sure. I did have an event after that, so I had to leave after a couple of hours. After that, our texting was limited to sharing pictures we took on the day and a couple of jokes, and that's it. I did thank him and mention I had a great time. Now, here's the situation. I am a bit older than him, and also I will be moving in about 4 months or so. So at this point, I was not really dating or meeting guys because of that. So I think I have been approaching most of my new meetings as friends. So I'm friendly but avoid flirting or giving any sort of signals that might be interpreted as interest. But after spending the day with him, I actually found myself interested in seeing him again, but I am still leaving, so I don't expect a long-term relationship coming out of this or anything, and so now I'm a bit confused because there are multiple possibilities. I was being too friendly, out of habit, but also because I was trying to get to know him. I did not flirt at all. I was pretty neutral, I'd say, and maybe he thought I was not interested. Hence why he is not asking to go out again. He might have been attracted to me at first, but after spending time together, he wasn't feeling it. It was a one-time thing. He wanted company for his trip and made a date out of it without any further expectations I might see him again if he joins the next group event, which could help me read him better, but that's not guaranteed. I could just say that I'd want to see him again, but I'm worried he's not interested, as he hasn't really made an effort to text or talk, and I'm not very good with rejection law. It terrifies me, especially that we have friends in common and I might see him again in group events. I would still want to be friends with him, but I'm worried if I mention my interest, it might mess it up by making me awkward around him. So now, I'm not sure what to do. There is an event coming up soon, so I'm thinking to wait and see if he shows up, and try to read him then. If not, I don't know how to handle this considering all the factors. Story 5. I am 32. Have a weird feeling about a newish relationship with her, F26, after she told me she hung out with another guy. I've been seeing this woman for a couple months now, and we've been official and exclusive for about a month. It's been going pretty well, though there are sometimes instances where she seems upset about something, but has a hard time expressing why, and will occasionally keep it to herself for a while, whereas I like to get things out in the open. We hang out quite a bit, maybe 4-5 times a week we are spending the night together. On Monday, I was feeling pretty tired and didn't want to have to wake up earlier the next day to get to work, so I decided to stay home and let her know. She seemed to be okay with it. She had to run an errand and put together a table for her new apartment. Then the next day, yesterday, I went over and noticed she had a game out that we hadn't played together and asked her about it. She said she played it with her friend yesterday, but didn't say anything else. At this point, I'm not insecure at all, just curious, and asked her with who, and she said her friend John. Now this is the first time I've heard this name, and I've met several of her other friends, and other friends I haven't met, she's talked openly about. She didn't offer up any other information, and at this point I feel weird about that. So I mention I haven't heard her bring him up before. Who is he? She tells me he was a friend of her ex, and they always got along at parties or get-togethers and were pretty similar. She said something about how he's the kind of guy that disappears when he's in a relationship but he's single now. She said she asked him to come over and help put a stool together for the table because she was having a hard time doing it herself, and they hung out for a few hours. At this point, I'm feeling a bit insecure and jealous, and admittedly I have been a jealous person in the past. Nothing else she has done has indicated she would cheat, and even seemed pretty paranoid about putting her trust in me early on because she says she absolutely hates being cheated on. I didn't say anything else about it though. We went to sleep shortly after, and then when I woke up I went home, and that's where I'm now. We have plans to hang out tonight, and I think I need to bring it up again, but I don't want to be accusatory. I don't think her hanging out with another guy is wrong, it just felt weird that I didn't even know she was hanging out with anyone, and then it took me asking several questions before she really told me who it was. I know there's a chance she thought I would be jealous about it, so didn't want to tell me, but it was totally innocent, and I know there's a chance she didn't even really think twice about it, and it was completely innocent. But I know there's also a chance it's something else.